So these are the travel money cards that most outreach teams take on outreach, what you get from Commonwealth. But just a couple of hints when you're in Papua New Guinea with using them. First thing is these don't work in any BSB bank account EFTPOS machine. They only work in BSB ATMs. So if you're buying groceries for your team at like a Stop and Shop or a supermarket, make sure that they have Westpac or ANZ facility, something more than BSB, otherwise your card won't work. Second thing is, the more rural you get, you will not have access to anything other than BSB. So even for example in Daru, they only have BSB Bank or ATM, so you can use this in ATM, but you can't use it at any store, so you end up paying cash and everything. So the more rural you go, the more likely is you're going to have to withdraw all your money beforehand, because they won't work anywhere. They work in the big cities, they might work in Alatau, they will work in Lae most places, they will work in Port Moresby most places, not in Kirima, sometimes in Daru. So cash is appropriate. With these cards, you definitely want to make sure that you've downloaded the Commonwealth Bank app on your phone and you've linked it up before you leave. Like, make sure you've all got your PIN in and things like that. So that way you can quickly see how much the equivalent is of Australian dollar, because you're putting Australian dollar in your tracking sheet on card, not PNG Kina. So therefore your tracking sheet on your budget is on your card section is what is in here, rather than in your PNG Kina receipts. You still have to keep your PNG Kina receipts, but you'll put Australian dollar in the tracking sheet, so you want to have this app downloaded. So using cards overseas as well, a handy hint you can tell which ATMs you can use or not use them in is what it has. This is a Visa, so obviously any ATM that has the word Visa on would work. Sometimes they don't have Visa, but on the back, not on these ones, they have like a little blue circle and a little red circle called Maestro, or they have MasterCard. And again, you just have to look at the symbols to see if it works in the ATM. Our travel money cards from Westpac work in any ATM, but if you find it doesn't work, it's probably because you're trying to withdraw a too larger amount out of an ATM. So just adjust the amount you're withdrawing. A good amount to start off with is, say, if I was trying to withdraw a large amount of money, I can usually find I can do 1,500 Kina each time I put my card in the ATM. But you can actually withdraw up to, you have to double check this fine print, but it's something like 4,000 Kina or 5,000 Kina a day per card. But just double check your small print of how much you can do. Okay, so if you need to withdraw a large amount of cash, a couple of things you need to consider. Think about where you're withdrawing it. Is it a safe location? A lot of ATMs sometimes are in the open and sometimes they're behind like a glass door and there's security. That would be the ideal place to withdraw a large amount of money. Also, when you withdraw a large amount of money, you get 50 and 100 Kinas. And think about, okay, it's all very well, but if I'm going again to Kirima, do you want to be slapping down 100 Kina notes everywhere? Not likely. So you then will want to take that money and exchange it to sometimes the 25s and 10s. Particularly the more rural you go, you can only pay everything in coins at markets often. So if you're buying local food, you might, for a whole team, only spend like 4 Kina in coins to feed your entire team at a market, for example. And you can't give them 20 Kina, nobody has change at a market. You got to give them exact currency. So where I always go, one safe spot, is really easy and really quick. As soon as I arrive at the airport, you can go to the ATM right there. You're under a lot of security, limited people around. And then in between the international and the domestic, there's 2 banks. There's a ANZ and a BSB. You can go into those and take your cash in, and they can exchange it to smaller money as well. And the lines are a lot less than the banks. And it's also quick to do if you're racing between a domestic and an international flight. You can do that easily as well. So make sure you have small change if you do any kind of village stuff, and yeah, you need small. I'm talking like 5, 10 Kina, 20 Kinas, 50 Kinas is even too much at times in some places.